Ever find yourself in the grocery store, planning out your list and all, but then you kind of get this daydream, this thought bubble, like, what if I could just run wild through these aisles and grab anything I wanted?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's what we're diving into today, a show that took that fantasy and made it a reality. 90s era supermarket sweep.
Get ready, because we're not just here for the nostalgia. Supermarket sweep, I mean, come on. Giant hams, shopping carts flying around. It's a direct line to understanding 90s culture. We're talking consumerism, game show obsession, just pure fun. All those things kind of bundled up into one.
So paint this picture with me. 1990, right? The Berlin Wall just came down. The internet's this new thing everyone's figuring out. Game shows are blowing up, and then bam, supermarket sweep hits the scene, letting everyday folks live out their grocery dreams. Do you think that's just coincidence?
Not a chance. It was perfect timing. That whole cultural wave of, things are looking up, the economy's doing well, everyone's spending, and people love a winner. It wasn't just a game. It showed what those times were all about,
And don't even get me started on those bonus items. Giant hams, those huge barrels of detergent, they took everything over the top about 90s shopping and made it into a competition.
And that's what made it so brilliant.
Yeah.
It was a fantasy everyone could relate to. It wasn't celebrities, right? It was you, me, just regular people going after these everyday prizes. A year's worth of laundry detergent, a top-notch ham. It felt possible, like something you could actually achieve, at least for the time they were on TV, right?
And speaking of achievable, the game itself was surprisingly simple, wasn't it? Answer some trivia, you race around, grab the most expensive stuff you can spot. Easy peasy.
But don't let that fool you. There was some real strategy involved. Knowing the layout of the store, memorizing where those bonus items were hidden, you had to think on your feet and really know your stuff. Made for some surprisingly gripping TV. What about those mad dashes down the aisles? What really sticks out to you, looking back?
Oh man, it was like watching a video game come to life. And those bonus items, those huge boxes of cookies, inflatable toys hidden in the aisles. It was pure 90s, just totally over-the-top fun. But I gotta ask, how much of that was the show playing it up, and how much was just reflecting what was already happening in our culture of, buy, buy, buy?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
It definitely amplified those desires. Think about it.
Yeah.
When do you ever get to just run wild in a grocery store, grabbing whatever you want? It's this exaggerated version of our normal shopping trips turned up to 11.
It's like they took that everyday worry of, did I get a good deal, and turned it into a sport.
Exactly.
And speaking of anxieties, do you think Supermarket Sweep created any new ones or just tapped into what was already there?
Yeah, it really makes you stop and think, I mean, on the surface, it's just good fun, right? But then you've got this underlying message about, more, more, more. Get everything you can, even if it gets a little crazy.
And it makes you wonder how much of that, stuck with us. We've seen this trend since then, this idea that it's not just okay to go a little overboard with shopping, it's almost celebrated.
It's true. Black Friday, those videos you see online of people practically brawling over a discounted TV, it's like Supermarket Sweep gave us permission to go a little nuts in the aisles.
And let's not forget social media. It's like the show went digital, people showing off everything they bought, their perfectly organized pantries, bragging about deals they snagged. It's all about showing how good you are at shopping, almost like a badge of honor. You know what I mean?
Totally. It's funny how that competitive edge from the show, that ticking clock, it's morphed into something else online. Now it's likes and shares, this need to be validated to have the best stuff, the prettiest shopping cart,
We've even got people building careers out of it now. Grocery influencers, bargain hunters with millions of followers.
Oh, for sure.
Speaking of careers, David Ruprecht, the host, what a legend. He really made the show, don't you think?
Absolutely. He could make reading a grocery list sound exciting. He just had that energy, that authority,
He did. I think that's the sign of a great game show host. They take something ordinary and make it feel important, exciting.
Exactly. Speaking of things being more than they seem, did you know that Supermarket Sweep actually started way back in 1965?
Wait, seriously, I always thought it was a 90s invention.
It had a whole life before the neon and inflatable furniture of the 90s revival we all remember.
It's like the show itself got a bonus round comeback. But what's interesting is, even though it's been off the air for a while, you can still see its impact. And not just in our online shopping habits either.
Oh, go on. This is where it gets good.
Well, just think about it. That mad dash for the best stuff, forming alliances, the pure chaos. It's practically a blueprint for shows like The Amazing Race. You see the connection, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's Supermarket Sweep's DNA right there. It proved that something as normal as grocery shopping could be super entertaining.
Yeah.
And reality TV, it took that idea and ran with it,
Mhm.
Now you've got tons of shows all based on that same basic idea.
It's wild to think how one show can have such a big impact, huh? Supermarket Sweep, I mean, it was so simple, but it worked. The timing is right, and who could forget those giant inflatables?
Those inflatables. Classic. But you're right, it really clicked with people. It tapped into something we all feel, that desire for more, that competitive spirit. And hey, we all love a little chaos now and then,
Yeah.
especially when there's free groceries involved, right?
Okay, before we wrap up our Supermarket Sweep deep dive, I gotta ask, any favorite moments that stand out? We've talked about the big picture stuff, the cultural impact, but what about those little moments, the ones that made you laugh? What really stuck with you?
Oh, there's so many. Let me see. I always love those times when a contestant would grab something thinking it was like a super expensive item, only to find out it was something totally ridiculous, like a giant inflatable pickle or something.
Well, totally. Or that one time when that contestant tried to stuff a whole frozen turkey under their shirt. So ridiculous, but you couldn't help but root for them.
Exactly. It's those unexpected, crazy moments that really made it special. People just letting loose, embracing the absurdity of it all. It's a good reminder to not take things too seriously all the time.
So maybe there's a lesson there for all of us, right? Life's like Supermarket Sweep in a way. Go after what you want, don't be afraid of a little chaos, and hey, if you happen to grab a giant inflatable banana along the way, all the better.
Well said. You got to have fun with it, right? Life, it's like a game show in a lot of ways. You need a plan, sure, but you also need enthusiasm, a little luck, and a good sense of humor. And those little everyday
Yeah.
things, you never know. They could mean more than you think.
It really does make you wonder, what do people think about us when they look back? Our obsession with online shopping, those videos of our grocery hauls,
Yeah.
will they see it as a reflection of who we were? Just like we see Supermarket Sweep as a snapshot of the 90s.
Who knows? But one thing's for sure. People are always going to want a good deal, a little friendly competition, and a whole lot of fun. That's a story that never gets old, whether it's happening in the grocery store or on our screens.